social justice movement.
Yes.
I'm a communist, motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yes, you're a communist.
Yeah, I'm a communist.
So the communists...
I'm a communist, motherfucker. oh, he's so hard. I'm sure he's going to be very popular in the pen. Hey all, the NeoUnrealist here. Some of you may recall back toward the end of last year in September when a bunch of fools that people were laughing at called Smash Racism DC. They mobbed Texas Senator Ted Cruz and his wife in a Washington DC restaurant. Now, their mission failed miserably as the Cruzes basically left the restaurant momentarily until the riffraff of overprivileged white trustafarians, they were cleared out of the restaurant. So when calm was restored, the Cruzes came down from the waiting area that they were taken to and proceeded to enjoy their meal. Now, undaunted in their lame and off-putting antics that only succeeded in alienating people against their position, the Smash Racism DC fools, they upped the ante in their quixotic quest to alienate even the most sympathetic portions of the population to their sort of far-left radicalism that where they went and they doxed Fox News host Tucker Carlson and stood outside his house, quote-unquote protesting. You know, I don't know what kind of protesting involves having people pounding on the front door and terrorizing Tucker's poor wife, who was home alone and believed she was about to be the victim of a home invasion. Now, this incident, which obviously upset Tucker Carlson, was the impetus behind the news outlet that he'd founded before his move to Fox News, the Daily Caller, to start to dig into the Antifa group, Smash Racism DC, that was behind the incident at his house. Now, they keyed in on a Smash Racism DC organizer, one Jose Martin, also known as Chepe. What the hell is a Chepe? Chepe. Chepe, he's a virulent and radical communist who was called for the murder of the rich, if you could believe this, and the overthrow of the United States government. So, just your harmless run-of-the-mill Antifa, if you ask CNN's Chris Cuomo, right? What the Daily Caller revealed in December is that Chepe, sorry about that, guys. Chepe is actually a man named Joseph Alcoff, who uses the Jose Martin / Chepe fake identity to spread his socialist and communist ideology while leaving his real identity, Joseph Alcoff, free to rub elbows with more mainstream companies such as the traditional Democrat Party politicians, you know, in his role as a campaign manager for a Washington lobbying group called Americans for Financial Reform. Well, you know, going back to November, a lesser-known incident happened in Philadelphia in the vicinity of the We the People rally, if you remember that, where two members of the United States Marine Corps, they were assaulted by 10 to 12 members of Antifa. You know, the criminal gang Antifa, they called the two Marines Nazis and white supremacists and attacked them. Now, this came as a surprise to the two Marines, you see, because both of them, in addition to not being a part of the We the People rally, they were actually in Philadelphia for a Marines ball dancing event at a near, I don't know the name of the hotel, I forgot, but, you know, they were there to go to a dance. So, the thing is, in addition to not being a part of the conservative rally, they're also Hispanic. Alejandro Godinez and Luis Torres, yes, those good Aryan names, Alejandro and Luis. Oh, God. During the attack, Alejandro Godinez, he shouted, "I'm Mexican," to the violent Antifa mob, who continued to attack, only now they started calling him a spick and a wetback. So, God, let's pull back a minute and look at the big picture here. You have a group that's always claiming to be fighting fascism and racism, yet in reality, what you had on that street in Philadelphia was a bunch of white men, presumably they'd be dressed in traditional Antifa or Black Bloc garb, so a group of white men essentially in a paramilitary uniform engaging in an organized and premeditated racial hate crime, literally assaulting and beating two Hispanic men while shouting anti-Hispanic slurs. A uniformed paramilitary group of whites beating on two minorities and shouting ethnic slurs? And these people think they're the good guys. The cognitive dissonance is strong with it, these Antifa morons. By the end of November, police identified and arrested two members of Antifa, charged them with aggravated assault, criminal conspiracy, terroristic threats, among other things. Thomas Massey and Tom Keenan. Yeah, I mean, look at these warriors for anti-fascism and the oppressed, who targeted two Hispanic men and committed a racial hate crime against them. In a preliminary hearing in December, the two Marines testified in court under oath that, like I said, the Antifa criminals attacked them, called them Nazis and white supremacists, and then proceeded to use the anti-Hispanic slurs while punching and kicking and spraying them with mace. The Marines also testified they had no knowledge or affiliation with the We the People event, and this is where the story of the Marines collides with the Daily Caller articles that were caused by the Tucker Carlson incident that Smash Racism DC/Antifa did. One of the Marines, Luis Torres, he was reading online stories about the attacks, and he came across one of the articles about Smash Racism DC and Chepe. You're gonna want to be Hispanic. Being hunted down by the Hispanic guy he attacked. Anyway, Torres contacts the detectives in Philadelphia, and he identifies Joseph Alcoff and says, this guy, hey, he was part of the criminal gang of Antifa who attacked me. Torres showed investigators photos that he took that day of the mob at the time of the attack, and the police agreed that Alcoff was the guy in Torres' pictures. And this is how Joseph Alcoff, excuse me, I just like saying Chepe. Chepe. This guy thinks he's Che freaking Guevara, I think. Chepe. What the hell is that? I mean, look at the mugshot. Chepe. Anyway, Alcoff, the wannabe revolutionary, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault. Get this. Ethnic intimidation. And conspiracy. Oh, man. He pled not guilty. He's out on bail. I mean, oh, God. Can you imagine this guy in a cell block up in, let's say, Graterford or some other gladiator factory? Graterford, I'm sorry. What are you in for, new guy? Assault and ethnic intimidation on two Mexicans. I mean, where's he going to go? He can't hang with the Hispanic car. He committed an anti-Hispanic race crime. He's, as far as I can tell, he's a white guy anyway. Just that wouldn't fly. He's white, but he can't hang out with the white car, talking all that communist and intersectional nonsense. And he'd better just keep his mouth shut and stick with the unaffiliated crew, because that is a good question. Who do white Antifa roll with when they go to prison? The absolute most racist environment you could possibly imagine. I mean, the white faction on the inside is dominated by racist prison gangs like the Aryan Brotherhood, and even then you're outnumbered. But what do you do if you're an anti-fascist? Who do you roll with in prison if you're white? I mean, you can't mix with the other races. Certainly not in a state prison, and that's what he's charged with, state charges. If he's convicted for a racially motivated violent felony, I mean, he's not going to some club-fed minimum security work camp. No matter how quiet he keeps, the other inmates, they're going to find out why he's in prison. They have ways of doing their own background check on a new guy when they come into the cell block. Anyway, that's a subject for another video. White Antifa inside the penitentiary. What card do they roll with? I mean, these dopes got to learn. If you form a group with the express purpose of initiating violence on people in the street, you don't just get hit with simple assault charges. After a while, you start getting prosecuted on a conspiracy too. Hell, if the prosecutors really start to hate you and your group, and they've already got you on conspiracy, they could treat you just like any other organized crime organization and have the feds come at you with a RICO case like you're a drug cartel or the mafia. Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, people. They don't even have to prove that the leadership of the organization did a crime in a RICO case. All they got to show is that you're the leader of the organization or a leader, and that the criminal act was performed in furtherance of the organization under your orders or, with your material assistance. Antifa would be so open to RICO. I mean, these people, they've got online videos and literature calling for organized violence. they've gotten away with a lot over the past few years, but this Philadelphia case might mark a turning point. Out on the West Coast, you've got Yvette Folarka from BAM. She's in the middle of her own trial on this stuff. So you start seeing high-profile Antifa figures doing jail time in real prisons. You know, not just wrist slaps in some county jail where they're out in a couple days, a week, or a month, but genuine mainline prison time. That movement's going to start looking a lot less attractive to the privileged white upper class that, that seem to populate the ranks of Antifa. That's all for this NeoUnrealist. Like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you want to go above and beyond with supporting the channel monetarily, the Patreon link is still, available to those of you who chose to stick it out there. But there's obviously still the PayPal link and the tip pledge button if you're watching this on BitChute. I've created an account for the channel with Subscribestar, but it's still in their review process, so you can't pledge to it yet, even though you can see it there. But I'll let you know when it comes out of the Subscribestar review procedure and it's unlocked. Anyway, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.